So recently, one of my colleagues who's an English professor was expressing his frustration about students not reading entire text. He would tell them how important it was for them to read the text because it would help them with the next quiz or the next test. But after the quiz or test, he was realizing they weren't reading the text. So he was trying to figure out a way to get them to understand the importance of reading an entire article, an entire book, an entire email, not just, looking past the headline and reading everything. So one day he needed to cancel class for whatever reason. So he sent out an email. And in that email, he wrote a bunch of little things about the next text that was coming up. And at the end of the email, he wrote that class was going to be canceled. So after the day and time of that class, he received a bunch of emails from several students saying they didn't know that the class was canceled. Hey, why didn't you let us know the class was canceled? So he asked them if they had read the entire previous email that he sent out to them. And many of them said, oh, I skimmed through it, or, I just read the title of the email. So another friend of mine who's a high school teacher posted on Facebook recently her frustration about people reading headlines and then commenting on something without understanding the full context of the headline. She was frustrated in the fact that there were a lot of people spreading misinformation or regurgitating misinformation that they obviously hadn't understand the whole context of the issue that they were regurgitating. She said that people doing this was causing a lot of division in this country. This brings me to something that I've realized. Republicans are winning the information game because lies reduced to one-liners are much easier to distribute than full articles or books. They told us that they love the poorly educated, and they have tried very hard to dismantle education. It is obvious that they know exactly what they're doing, and it is evident by the things that they post daily. Nancy Mace is a sitting member of Congress, and she recently posted, "The left thinks Hunter Biden isn't guilty, but Trump is." Now, of course, I fixed it because she put "the left think." That's another video for another day. But what this text does is it epitomizes the whole idea that lies reduced to a one-liner travels way too fast. You see, what the left actually believes is that Donald Trump is guilty of what he was convicted of, and Hunter Biden is guilty of what he was convicted of. They want you to believe that Hunter Biden and Donald Trump weren't adjudicated the same way, but they were. You see, Donald Trump had a grand jury indict him, and then a jury of his peers found him guilty. Hunter Biden had the exact same thing happen. Republicans want you to believe that Hunter Biden was guilty of all of these things when he was guilty of what he was convicted of, which were those gun charges. But they really want you to believe that Donald Trump somehow was cheated by the system and Hunter Biden is just being let go on everything. That's just not what actually happened. Every step of the judicial system worked, okay? There was a grand jury and then a jury of their peers. That is what happened, but Republicans, again, know how to reduce lies to one-liners that work to excite the people that they are trying to excite. Eric Baden talks about this in an interview that he did, and he talks about how reducing, how simplifying complex issues and disseminating that to people is an essence of fascism.
To be very frank with you, I think everyone is really trying to do their damn best, okay? And some idiot, the orange idiot, went on television, your fellow network, and claimed all kinds of things about Newsom and California and the water distribution. All nonsense, disinformation, period. There's a guy on your show that does fact-checking. I like him a lot. It's a breath of fresh air. Say hello to him. This is very, very good. And what some of these characters are now disseminating on one particular network and on some podcasts is outrageous and very damaging to our nation. This is a great nation. Trust me. I know whereof I speak. I come from a nation that believed in fascist ideology for a while. Okay? And we certainly will not want to go into that again, but we are close to it. Because people want to simplify complex problems. The essence of fascism is to simplify complex problems and feed people who don't have time to read some bullshit.
And they'll do this in all types of ways, even if it means conflating two issues that have no relationship at all. Like in the case where Charlie Kirk recently posted this. We sent $250 billion to Ukraine, and yet we can't get water to fight fires in California. These things are not related at all, and no amount of money could have stopped these fires in California or got water to fire hydrants that malfunctioned because of the amount of pressure that was demanded of them at one time. And if you listen to the actual experts like the firefighters and fire chiefs, this is what they are actually saying as well. And I'm not one to give a pass to people, so I'll say this. The California administrator, Gavin Newsom, the mayor of LA, fire chiefs, there were some mistakes made. However, recently I was on a debate with someone, and the person I was debating was saying that because California was spending so much time on DEI and wokeism, they somehow took their eye off the ball and weren't able to fight these fires correctly. And you know, this was basically someone who had no depth of knowledge of anything, just repeating basically what Charlie Kirk was saying. This is why I typically don't engage in debates with these people, because I get pretty offended when their level of intellect is that of a wet paper bag. It is so hard to even talk to these people. But it's got me wondering, how do we fight this information game? And this is one of the reasons that I think we need to simplify our information and get to the meat and potatoes of the information a little bit quicker. I don't have all the solutions, but I'm working on ways to disseminate the truth in bite-sized forms. We never want to be them and spread lies, but we need to find ways to spread the truth to people who have good intentions, but just aren't reading entire articles or books or whatever. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Period.
Don't want no enemies or ops. Envy in they heart, I tell them stop. Vacation on the yacht.